Why do you find it so necessary to use students here as the subjects for your art?
Because this is an all-girl boarding school. What are your thoughts on Oso Academy's curriculum, Mr. Makashima?
Darn it, we almost had them. I already had the guys put Rikako Oreo on the wanted list. We'll get her soon enough.
She's dead.
What?
Come with me. We gotta talk.
Well, what is it? You got a problem with me, spit it out.
I'm sorry, Kogami. I was the one who got emotional on this case, and you weren't deluding yourself about him either. You were right.
Don't worry about it. If you took everything your enforcer said as gospel, you wouldn't be a very good inspector. I mean, you're supposed to be skeptical, right?
Yeah, but...
It's like my praised tail brushed my nose as he ran right by me. But you know, for the first time in a long while, I actually feel good.
Nice. Have you decided? Yep. Would you please tag this outfit combination as one of my favorites?
Roger that! Oh! You got a hot date tonight!
It's not like that.
Hollow Team, use the pattern we agreed on yesterday.
Sure.
Sorry, not feeling it now. I'm worried our viewers might think it's a little tacky.
Well, there are plenty of different patterns we could try.
How about bringing him a gift? I have some choices for you. Also, I could arrange a pretty flower bouquet.
Candy, it's not a date. Cancel action, delete memory.
As you wish, Akane. Speculation macro reset.
Turn on some news.
The Ministry of Welfare just flagged a video as recommended.
Sure, that's fine.
All right.
Today I'm talking with Toyohisa Senguji, a pioneer of body cyberization and chairman of Tato Construction, which specializes in underground redevelopment.
My pleasure to be here today.
Recent years have seen the use of cyborg technology in all branches of medicine become affordable and accepted. But it still can be a bit unsettling to meet someone like Mr. Senguji, whose body is entirely cyborg save for his brain and central nervous system.
It remains a mystery to me why people refuse to recognize just how limiting their natural biology can be.
Limiting is a strong word.
The ancient philosopher Plato once said, "Our souls are imprisoned in our bodies."
Wow, you look like you're in a bad mood already, Mr. Kogami.
That thing tried to bite me because I tried to have a cigarette. What's your problem?
That robot touched a nerve with you.
Sorry.
What? Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I was fighting with Candy this morning.
It's enabled me to experience all sorts of new activities in my life. I honestly never expected that beating the disease of aging would bring me this kind of happiness. But that's something a person can't understand until they embrace a cyborg body.
Sir, even with all our advances, I understand that the human brain cannot live beyond 150 years. Being able to fully cyberize a brain for an infinite lifespan may prove to be beyond science's reach.
Long as I keep my brain stimulated, I'll be able to squeeze plenty of life from it. Enough, I believe, for them to find a cyberization breakthrough in the meantime.
Now I see. If that happens while you're still alive.
That's right. I'll have achieved immortality. The Old Testament tells us that God created man in his own image. Don't you think it's time for us humans to take some of God's power for ourselves?
Do you think eternal life's worth it if it means you have to become a cyborg?
I don't really care. Life as a latent criminal isn't something you like to think about going on forever.
But it's always possible the social system will continue evolving, and one day latent criminals will have more rights.
I'm starting to see why your Psychopass is always clear.
According to a recent survey, a supermajority of respondents said they'd be uncomfortable with any more than 50% of their bodies being replaced with cybernetics.
I understand the hesitance the public still has on this issue. But we're all more machine than we realize. Take you, for instance. You're already quite the cyborg.
Mr. Senguji, I assure you I have no artificial arms, legs, eyes, or other body parts.
But you do carry around a portable information terminal, don't you?
Well, yes. But doesn't everyone?
And a costume device?
Of course.
And your home's functions are all fully automated with an AI secretary, yes?
Yes.
So what would happen to you if all your settings and data in those devices were to be lost in some kind of disaster?
I guess I wouldn't be able to do any work until they were restored.
When you hand over so much of your life and work to digital devices, the insistence you're not a cyborg doesn't sound very convincing anymore, now does it? For you, all these terminals and AI programs are practically a second brain. Am I right? It's said the arc of progress is the expansion of the body's functionality. That means man's history is also the history of cyberization, and vice versa. Like I said, we're more machine than we think.
Yeah,
Hello? It's Kogami.
all right. Hold on.
I don't see much environment hollow in use here.
Because that stuff irritates the hell out of him. Professor Saiga, it's been a while.
Stop calling me Professor. Don't you know how many years it's been since I quit? And this beauty must be?
Akane Tsunemori. I'm an inspector with the MWPSB. Nice to meet you, sir.
You are welcome to come inside, detectives. Is coffee okay?
Sure.
Yes, please.
That's good, because coffee's all I got. Inspector Akane Tsunemori.
Yes, sir?
Are you from Chiba?
I am, actually.
I assume you've got a decent amount of natural athletic skill, then. And yet I wonder why... You can't swim.
What?
I can tell your mother and father are still alive and healthy, though they are worrying about when their only daughter's going to find a boyfriend and settle down.
How'd you...
And they don't like you working for the MWPSB, do they? And one of your grandparents... Your grandma. She was affectionate with you. You think of yourself as a grandma's girl. Which is good, because it's a scientific fact that the more time you spend with the elderly as a child, the better your relationships will be with hollow avatar AIs as an adult. That's the pattern you fit, Miss Tsunomori.
Yeah.
You're sharper than ever, Mr. Saiga.
How do you read people like that?
It's simple observation, my dear. People manifest hundreds of signs or tells about themselves subconsciously. Once you know what to look for, reading those tells and filling in the blanks becomes second nature.
Mr. Joji Saiga, I understand you're also an expert in clinical psychology.
I started in that career, yes. But as I spent more time assisting police investigations, my interest naturally turned to criminology and profiling.
I need your help.
Of course. What is it I can do for you?
I'd like you to give Inspector Tsunomori a crash course on your skills.
Mainly your profiling. They say it's outdated, but it seems to have value. Watching you work is just... I mean, you've made me very interested.
I haven't seen such passion in a long time. This could be fun. So, anything else?
I was hoping you've kept a complete list of all the students who've attended your courses over the years.
Is that an order from the MWPSB?
No, sir. It's a personal request.
Good, because if it was an order, I would have flat out refused. Who are you looking for?
A guy who I'm pretty sure is the worst criminal since the creation of the Sybil system.
You're being serious.
He's proven to be exceptionally smart, genius, and he must be physically fit. His greatest skill, though, is his charisma. He rarely gets his hands dirty. Instead, he brainwashes and manipulates others into murdering for him. Think of him as a music conductor orchestrating one murder after another.
Kogami, define charisma for me, please.
Innate appeal, a personality trait that can convince others to do things.
I'll give that answer a B. There are 3 elements that comprise charisma. As you said, there's the innate appeal often found in leaders. There's also a power to make others feel good simply by being in your presence. And finally, there's the ability to talk confidently about all things with all people. Of these 3 different elements, which does he possess the most?
I would say this guy's got all those traits in abundance.
This is Yukimori Shibata, an art teacher at Oso Academy. Or rather, this is the real Shibata. In reality, he's an old man in a nursing home who's never had any kind of connection to the Academy. The mastermind we're after stole the old man's name and background to get a job at the school.
Pretty crafty of him to steal a real ID instead of trying to create a new one from scratch.
The guy hid in plain sight working as a teacher. I can't decide whether that's brilliant or stupid.
About that, sir. All the school's video was destroyed. The only thing we were able to piece back together was a short sound file. That left 2 ways to image him. Create an old school photo fit picture or bring in a composite artist. Needless to say, we tried both methods.
And it sounds like neither worked.
No.
So we're back to square one. Our only image is a blurry photo Sasayama took years ago.
Did you at least get something out of it?
Yes, of course. He's a fantastic teacher. In fact, I don't get why his lectures aren't in the MWPSB archives.
They would never do that.
What's the real story with him?
It was back when the university system still existed alongside the Sybil system. Saiga's criminology courses were specifically set up to train investigators. But one day they found a big problem. The hues of his students became clouded, and their crime coefficient saw a big jump. Relax, not for every student. One-on-one lectures like yours today are fine. And besides, your hue's impossible to cloud anyway.
Yeah, but to think listening to a guy speak could raise your crime coefficient.
Say there's a dark swamp and you can't see the bottom. If you want to know what's down there, you gotta jump. Mr. Saiga can handle it because he swims down there all the time. But for most of his students, it's a new experience, and they can't always surface safely. They can't handle what's in the swamp.
You seem like someone who could dive in, touch the bottom, and come back without a scratch.
Thanks, but I doubt that. If you were to ask our dear friend the Sybil system, I'd hit the black mud and never come back.
What kind of animal do you think is the most cunning and has the lowest risk of going extinct, no matter how many are hunted and killed?
That can only be man.
That was too easy for you. Nowadays, it's hard for the common citizen to get a hunting license. Makishima, I appreciate your company.
That pipe of yours, that's not ivory, is it?
I suppose I haven't shown it to you yet. Excluding the mouthpiece, this pipe is made from Rikako Orio's bones.
Oh.
When I inhale it like this, my mind feels as sharp as a young man's again. It's like I'm breathing in the souls of my terrified prey so that I might feast upon their life-giving energy.
Obviously, you've overcome your body's aging. Your only worry left is your mind.
That's exactly correct. To maintain a healthy mind and body requires some sacrifices. Particularly the lives of others. Unfortunately, many of those seeking eternal life neglect feeding their minds in favor of keeping their bodies young. This has one result: a long life as beautiful zombies. It's a rather foolish end, don't you think?
The thrill you get from a successful hunt. It's like a reward for coming face to face with death and surviving.
You're quite right. In hunting, the more dangerous your prey, the more potent the stimulation your brain gets from killing it.
Then I have good news for you. I think I can arrange for your next prey to be the most potent yet.
Go on.
He's an enforcer.
How intriguing.
His name is...
So much for that. I thought for sure we'd find something in his lecture attendee list.
That's how it goes. But as long as Makishima's alive, he must be leaving some kind of trail.
I heard you took Inspector Tsunemori to meet with Joji Saiga today.
Yeah?
I asked Kogami to take me there, sir.
What are you thinking, Kogami? Trying to drag her down into the mud? Make her someone who gives it all up to be a latent criminal like you?
Hey, that's not true. And I don't want you treating me like a child.
That is exactly what you are! A clueless, naive child! Why do you think we have different classifications for inspectors and enforcers? It's to lower the risk of a healthy person's psychopass becoming clouded during a criminal investigation. We have latent criminals with no hope of returning to society do our dirty work. That way, Inspector, you can fulfill your duty and protect your mind.
That doesn't sound like teamwork. Is our job to solve crimes or to protect our own psychopasses? Just tell me what's important so I know.
Akane, are you trying to throw away your career? You're gonna sacrifice everything you've built so far? For what?
Sir, It's true that I'm a rookie, and I do have great respect for your seniority. But don't forget I'm still an inspector, and we're on equal footing in terms of rank. I can manage my hue just fine, thank you. Just because you're my senior doesn't give you the right to keep embarrassing me in the workplace, or to question my psychopaths and abilities in front of our enforcers. I can't believe his nerve.
Whoa, where are you going?
To file a complaint with the bureau chief.
Any chance you'll let me talk you out of that, Missy?
Try.
Gino's his father. Well, poor guy's a latent criminal.
What?
Gino's was a little kid when they first put the civil system into operation. In those early days, rumors about latent criminals spread around the country like wildfire, causing mass panic. If anyone showed a high crime coefficient, that was enough for their whole family to get treated as if they were all latent criminals. Can't imagine being a kid and going through something like that. When a detective immerses himself in a case, sooner or later the civil system will start keeping an eye on him, too. Most think of criminals and cops as opposites, but they're actually on the same wave. Now we've got the enforcer and inspector arrangement to minimize risk, but in the early days, many detectives saw themselves classified as latent criminals. Gino's dad was one of those unlucky detectives.
I never knew that.
This is why he comes down so hard on those he thinks are unnecessarily risking their years. Happened with his old partner, Kogami.
Yes, I'm aware.
Ginoza feels he was betrayed twice. First by his father, then by his best friend. This is why he acts the way he does towards you. He doesn't want it to ever happen again.
But does he have to be a jerk?
No, you're right, he doesn't. But Missy, you got lots of friends and family back home, don't you? Times have changed some, but one thing's certain. If your Psychopass ever comes up clouded, the people you care about will still suffer. That's why we enforcers are here, to help you avoid that.
Does Mr. Kogami see his enforcer job the same way that you do?
He used to. But now, I don't know. I don't think he cares about anything beyond finding Makishima and getting his revenge.
I'm afraid I won't capture him alive. Is that okay?
Why, yes, of course. I expect nothing less from you.
I should mention something I don't think you've noticed. Shinya Kogami, whenever you mention him in conversation, you get such an amused look on your face.
Umaku